Today, we're going to talk about your time, specifically how to optimize your time and some few things that I've learned along the way as a CEO of a fast growth company, coaching many fast growth companies in their journey to fast growth on the Inc. 5000, and just some of the things that just make sense. We're going to share with you the kind of reasons why you want to think about your time. And we're also going to give you some frameworks to help you improve your time. And if you stick around, there's a special offer here I want to make to you because I care about you so much and I care about you actually getting what you want out of life and making the most of your time. So with all that being said, I'm going to dive in right now. One of the things I've seen is whenever you're growing a company, you have a lot more time than you do have money. In that very beginning stage, and I don't know if you can remember back that far for many of you, and some of you are probably in that right now, but you have more time than you have money. So you spend a lot of time doing the things yourself. You spend a lot of time taking care of small little details and you working on this. And this is common across every entrepreneur I've ever seen. It's rare actually when someone says, I didn't go through that phase. But when you think about your business, you have a lot more time in the beginning than you do now. Now, why do I bring that up? It's because you have to learn over time to let go of things, because as you grow the company, as you add more people, as you begin to scale up, as you begin to add more products, reach new markets, whatever it is, add more systems, you will feel to stretch on yourself. And so you have to constantly be in a process of how do you improve the way you show up and the way you use the time that's available to you. Because as you know, we can't create more time. I can't sell you time. I can't, give you just, more time to do the work. You have to learn to let go of these things. One of the big things that kind of highlights this is there's a big thing out there with Warren Buffett, and I don't know if he's actually done this or not, but it's talking about his pilot had been flying with him for years. And he's like, his pilot said, can I ask you some advice? And he's like, sure. And he goes, you've been with me for years. I'd be happy to talk to you. And he's like, I've seen your growth over the years, and I'd love for you to give me some words of advice around how I could achieve my dreams. And he goes, well, it starts with listing the 25 things that you really want the most. All these goals, all the things that you want to accomplish in life. Start with those 25. And he goes, well, what do I do from there? And he goes, well, get the 25 and come back to me. I'll see you tomorrow and we'll talk about what to do next. So pilot comes back to Warren Buffett with this list of 25 things. And he's like, I want to make sure you ordered them in the right order. So order them by, the most important first. Just start with the first 10. So kind of ad-libbing a little bit on the story, but you kind of get the idea. Prioritize what you want out of life. And so pilot did that. Next day he comes back and he goes, okay, what do I do next with this list? Now that it's, all the things I want to do and it's in order. And he goes, mark off the bottom 20. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, they're a distraction to you getting what you want most. The top 5, those top 5 goals. Now, I think that's a really incredible story to share with you. And if you've heard it before, maybe you've heard a better version of this, but you kind of get the idea of what it is. I even think that we could go even further and say that 5 goals is too many. I know we have different areas of life. We have our home life, we have our personal life, we have our health goals, we have spiritual goals, we have goals with our businesses and financial and all that stuff. I've seen the wheel of life. I've been around for a while. I know that there's some balance that's necessary, but I also know that when you hit the top 1 or 2 goals in your life, sometimes hitting those goals makes everything else happen. You don't want to forget about the family and forget about the loved ones in your life. But when you hit that top 1 or 2 goals, in my experience, everything else gets a little bit easier. And I'm not talking about just financial goals or thing goals. I'm talking about whatever makes you who you are, your real benefit behind life. When you think about those top goals that you want in your life, if you're really clear about what you want to achieve, you have a much better chance to achieve the most important. But if you just try to do a little bit of everything, most likely you're going to cause yourself a lot of frustration, even stress, anxiety around the journey because you can't get it all done. And so my suggestion would be, first and foremost, is really decide what you want. What do you want for the business? What do you want for your family life? Maybe those two goals really take precedence over everything else. And well, let's throw in the health goal too, because as we get older, I turned 50 recently, we have to think about our health. But I really want you to think about those 2 or 3 goals that really are the cornerstones of who you are and what you want. Make everything else in life easier. If you can make those happen, then you will feel like you've really lived your purpose. Those are the kind of goals I'm talking about. Dreaming bigger than you've ever dreamed before. And that really is a big part of this. But when it comes down to your time, the thing that you want to think about is most people, fill their time with busy work. And I want to give you a simple framework that you can think about as you think about what you have to do on a day-to-day basis. And all it takes is a blank piece of paper and 3 columns. The 3 columns, you're going to draw 2 lines to create 3 columns. And if you do this handwritten paper, it'll actually work very easily for you. And it works like this. At the top of each of those columns, write down the $20, $200, and $2,000. So you have 3 columns, $20, $200, and $2,000. Now, the thing that I want you to think about here is look at your schedule. Look at the things you have planned for today and decide whether they're $20 tasks, whether they're $200 tasks, or whether they're $2,000 tasks. And you might even think about how much time you're spending on each of those tasks, because we can do a $20 task that might take us, seconds to do because we just did it, whatever it is, replying to someone about travel arrangements and saying yes. Now, should you do that? Well, we won't get into the details of that. But when you think about how you're spending your time, and you use this sheet of paper, 20, 200, and 2,000, what I typically see is very little goes into the $2,000 column because people don't know what actually goes into that column. And so some of the things that I've seen goes in that column are when you're a leader of a person and you're investing in that person and you spend an hour with them, that output that is possible is well over $2,000. So we could put it in the $2,000 very comfortably because hopefully the conversation will generate a lot more than just the hours worth of work. It will generate and be leveraged for years to come. And every time you have these conversations in leadership, I think, go into at least that $2,000 column. So what else goes into that $2,000 column? Well, if you're raising capital, if you're innovating your product, if you're creating a new strategic partnership, it's hard to say for a second. If you're creating something that will move the business forward in a big way. But what we actually end up doing is spending more time doing $20 and $200 tasks than we do in the 2000. And that actually is a pretty big problem if you think about it, because you're not really optimizing your time. Now, I'm not saying that all of your time will be in the $2,000 range and above, but you want to make sure and be intentional about what is actually in that $2,000. What drives a $2,000 effect for your business, for your life? And I truly believe that when you are putting more of your attention to the higher value work, the higher, more strategic kinds of things, you will feel better about how you spend your time. But if you just show up for meetings and you get the status, that's at best a $200 thing, because it's just you showing up and you listening in and saying, what's next? What's next? You could have gotten a report for that. You could have gotten that. Now, your business may not be at the point where you're ready to take your finger off the pulse. But when you think about how you are going to evolve, the more time you spend in the $2,000 range, the better. Now, I actually think there's a few areas where you can actually maybe draw a little small box, or maybe you take a Post-it note and say, what are my $20,000 time areas? I can remember back when I got some coaching, and one question that my coach asked me was, who are your most valuable customers? Now, to give you context behind that, that one question was up for debate because I was talking about how many problems I had to work on day in and day out. And those problems were really, taking up a lot of my energy and time. And so I was asked by my coach, Linda, and that one question took me down a path of deciding how to strategize my business. It was well worth more than $20,000. The power of coaching is so incredible. I look back on that today, and that's just one of my personal examples. I'm sure you've probably got one too. I share all these things about your time today because I really want you to think about how you're using your time. I think about it constantly as I'm trying to evolve and play life at a higher level. How am I using my time? I'm planning my recharge time. I'm really intentional about how I'm with my family. I'm really intentional about what I'm doing in my health. And I'm not perfect. This is all something I've been figuring out along my journey here of 50 years on this earth. All this to share with you is, how are you optimizing your time? How are you really pushing it to the next level? When you think about your time, I want you to think about another aspect of this, and you've got to be able to look at what is the real issue. Many times when I'm looking at a CEO's calendar, or I'm looking at their inbox, or I'm looking at how they spend their time and they're telling me about this, we've got to find out what the real issue is. The real issue is never what they bring to me. The real issue is always something underlying. Either it's a mindset or it's something about the way they're thinking, not just about what's happening in front of them. That they're feeling one way because of the mindset, if that makes sense. And so it's always something deeper than what they originally thought it was and what they're experiencing. And my job is to help them uncover that. The reason I bring that up is because this is really hard to do by yourself. It's really, something that you have to have a trained eye. You have to be able to ask the right questions. And I've been working for over 10 years as an executive coach to do that. Now, I told you I was going to make a special offer for you today, and I have been doing a Black Friday thing. I've never done a Black Friday thing before, but I wanted to make it available to those listening to the podcast because you may not be on my email list. You may not be someone I've sent an email to or saw this on my Facebook pages or anything. But here's the deal. If you want to sit down with me and look at your time, how you're using your time, and optimize it, then we are going to do that together. We're going to sit down. 90 minutes is what I've got planned to really help you understand how you're spending your time. I just got off the phone call with a gentleman the other day, CEO of a fast growth company, and he's like, I am getting things done, but honestly, I don't feel motivated. I don't feel the drive I used to be. And part of it's because I'm missing the energy of the office. And so I'm working at home. And so I'm not going to begin to prescribe this, but I could easily tell you what's going on behind the scenes. And it is something that I've been trained to do, and it's something I can do for you. I mentioned this to you today because, I want to make sure that you have a chance to get this offer if you want to do it. I know a lot of it says in there that you have to be an Inc. 5000. And frankly, you do have to be an Inc. 5000 if you want the third bonus or the second bonus inside this program, which is to be a part of the workshop. But here's the thing. If you're not on the Inc. 5000 and your company's not on path for that, because if it is, then we can actually get you an exception. But if you're on the path to be on the Inc. 5000, then you can get the full bonus structure that's inside this offer. But if you are not, then I want you to make sure that the value there is still tremendous. That one question that Linda asked me about my most valuable customers, because all my energy was being taken by someone else, has generated millions of dollars for me and my businesses, for my clients as well. And so that one question is the power of coaching. Now, do I know what your one question is? No, because I got to get to know you. I got to talk to you. But I guarantee you will find that one question. And here's my guarantee on this. If you take me up on this offer to look at your time, spend 90 minutes with me, it is something you would have to invest in yourself. And the price of that is actually really, really amazing. I think it's $500. It's not about the, $500 for 90 minutes of work. It's about $500 of value of you really understanding how to move more of your work into the $2,000 an hour, not just accept the $20 and the $200 task kind of stuff. That's part of it. But the big part of it is what will really help you see the world differently and see yourself differently, create more energy, create more focus, and be able to get more done and make the most of your time. That's what this whole offer is about. I wanted to make sure you listening in today had a special offer. So it's still $500. If you want to be a part of it, just go to genehammett.com/time. The time is running out, pun intended. But you really have to make the decision. Today, I'm recording it on Monday. It was supposed to be a deadline, but I'm giving you a special URL. So only those that listen to this can get this offer. And you have until Thursday. You have Tuesday this week and Wednesday this week. After that fact, it will be $1,500 for this offer. I will make it available to other people at $1,500 so you can get it for $500. Now, there's some bonuses into it. I won't tell you all about the bonuses because I just don't want it to be that kind of conversation. If you want someone to sit down with someone and look at your calendar, look at what's going on inside your time and help you make the most of it, then this is the best offer I know out there, period. Because I'm not giving you a bunch of video courses, a bunch of stuff. I'm going to sit down with you and help you one-on-one, privately, in a conversation, and you get to have that and carry it with you for the rest of your life. I want to make a difference for you. I want to make a breakthrough that allows you to look at your life and your time differently. And all you have to do is go to genehammett.com/time. What that will get you is $500 is going to get you 90 minutes with me, get you some training stuff on your calendar and your emails, but also get you really clarity around how you're showing up so that you can make the most of your time. So just go to genehammett.com/time. You can find out more about the offer. You've got until Thursday this week. So I guess it's actually going to end on Wednesday night. But so you've got today that this is coming out on Tuesday, and then also on Wednesday. Those are the only 2 days to get it for $500. After that, it's $1,500, and I will probably put it on my website somewhere where you can actually go into that. We may discontinue this altogether because I'd never put together something this inexpensive before. I would love for you to take me up on this advantage and prove to me that the value of this is worth 10, 20, or 100 times more than that 500. If you want to be a part of that and be a part of a case study, then make sure you join. Go to genehammett.com/time. When I think about what I've done with my time and all of the little frameworks and all of the things I do on a consistent basis, as my company has grown, it has allowed me to do all the things that I have accomplished so far. And I know I have to continue doing it. So when I give you the frameworks, this is something you will be able to do yourself over time, over and over and over, to keep yourself aligned with getting the most done. So go to genehammett.com/time. I wrap up today saying that your time is precious, that your energy that you put into work is so important. And you want to make sure you're focused on the right things. If you feel like you're not focused on the right things, then take me up on this offer because it really is something that will change the way you engage with your own time. It will change our relationship here because $500 is not going to make me rich, but it will give you some skin in the game to really push you to the next level. I want to help you go beyond where you are today. So this is the easiest way you can work with an executive coach, and it can help you with just a small bit of time and pour into you like never before. So if that's interesting to you, make sure you go to genehammett.com/time. Let's wrap up today's message with this one final saying. If you want to grow your company and you want to be a better leader, think of Growth Think Tank. As always, lead with courage. We'll see you next time.